The most attractive people in this world are not the people with good mindsets, are not the people with the most compassion. It's usually the most narcissistic people. It's the most narcissistic people that we elect to presidency. It's the most narcissistic people that we elect to be our leaders. And the reason why that is because there are qualities in people that have narcissistic traits and that are emotionally distant that draws us to them. The problem with these types of people, because Lord have mercy, this guy's really annoying her. She joined the gang. Usually the ones that we perceive to be our leaders or the people of power have narcissistic traits. And the bad part about this is that these people who we actually sometimes envy because we want them and they don't want us back, the problem with this is that a lot of the times they are incapable of a healthy relationship. They're completely incapable. He's capable, but she's not. And because of her unwillingness to be with men, her unwillingness to have long-term relationship, it has counterintuitive effects. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to show you guys how it affects men, and also how to use coldness, to attract the guy. And it's a little evil, but that's why we're going to do it in the straight to hell section. In the straight to hell section, all right? So with that being said, don't forget, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindforattraction.org. Y'all know, click on the description down below where it says work with Father Alex. Oh, and by the way, we're having a live stream, a chisme stream, okay? So where you guys can join us and talk, and all the freeloaders can ask me questions. And that's going to be at 6 p.m. Mexico City time. I don't give a fuck where you are. Y'all going to have to find what that time is, okay? 6 p.m. Mexico City time. And I'm going to give you guys the Zoom link. You'll see it in the community notes, okay? So let's begin. So the first reason why it attracts them, but also why it's so dangerous, is that it triggers them. Triggers past trauma. Oh my God, Father Alex is illiterate. It triggers past traumas. What do I mean by that? Well, so it could be a fear of abandonment. It could be that they got rejected as a kid, their parents didn't give them attention. It could be that the way their parents soothed them caused more anxiety, right? Because sometimes a kid is crying in his bed, and his mom picks him up, and the mom is so stressed out that the kid feels tension in her voice and in how she holds him. And it causes a child stress whenever they feel strong, whenever they feel firm beds and sharp and intense loud noise. It scares kids. When you're as a parent trying to soothe the kid who's crying and you're frustrated, he's going to feel that. And he's going to want you to put him down. But then when you put him down, that little motherfucker's going to say, I'm still sad. Pick me up. But then when you try to pick him up, he's going to say, I don't like the way this person feels. They're too rough, too stiff, because when you put a baby here and you're mad, you're like, oh my God, this motherfucker. And the baby hears that, and it's like a fucking roaring lion. And he's not going to want to be soothed by you. So you put him down. But now he's still stressed. These types of guys tend to get attracted to women who have a certain coldness that draws them to them. It reminds them of their childhood dynamic. The problem is that they're not aware of it, right? You're not aware that your neediness was programmed before you were even conscious of life itself. So it triggers them. And what happens is that one of the signs that they're triggered is that once you give them what they want, they lose interest. And this is where this woman is scared of that, because she knows that. Like, her coldness brings out guys who are only traumatically attracted. But from her experience, when she opens up her heart, they get closed down. So she remains at this distance. Little does she know is that she has to take a few risks. From time, it's okay. Like, yeah, you might have turned a few guys off, but the pain of opening up and being rejected is so great that she'll never take that risk. But what the real key is to not give a fuck. Open up again. Eventually, you're going to notice that it was just a bad coincidence. But if you have the bad luck of coincidentally getting rejected a lot in the beginning, it might make you think that's how the world is with you. And remember, these motherfuckers are temporary, okay? The next thing is that the code elicits fantasies. People, stop sending me fucking trial periods for spelling apps. Okay, stop that. It's not funny. Fantasies. The codeness elicits fantasies and new emotions. Right, and so you're so cold, you're so hard to read. It's like Billie Eilish, right? Look at Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish has the dead girl look, like the dead eyes. That's what I have. I got the dead eyes, people, right? And no, the tired eyes with death. Well, almost dying. And this coldness, which I capture pretty perfectly, to be honest with you, you can zoom in on that, causes guys to project their fantasies. This could be, I'm attracted, or this could be, I'm not attracted. Like a blank look causes people to, because you gotta understand, people need to understand what they're looking at. If they don't understand what they're looking at because it's so vague, their minds will start to create something to make sense out of it. And what this creates is the fantasies. And the fantasies that he sees are pretty much based on the needs he never got fulfilled. So this woman will notice, and this woman complains because guys fall in love with her and she didn't do shit. That's the key. Not doing shit causes people to project and see whatever the fuck they want to see, right? It's like saying, I don't know if I want to be with you versus I don't want to be with you. Which one do you think elicits more fantasies? The I don't know. Why? Because it's a state of uncertainty. You don't know what's going on, right? And like I said, this is only temporary. Her life experience is that as soon as she opens up, the guys don't love her, right? And it's really, honestly, it's really sad, and not sad, but difficult, because she looks like she has a rough exterior. She looks like she's cold, when in reality, she's just scared of getting hurt because she's been hurt before, right? Or she may have low tolerance for pain. Now, the next thing is that their warmth isn't taken for granted. What do I mean? Well, this chick is so cold that anytime you get a smile out of her, it's like watching the sun in fucking Scandinavia for once. Like, when you rarely smile, people will never take you for granted. When you have an air of coldness, people will not take you for granted, because the next time you show warmth, they're gonna suck that in. They're gonna bring that in, people, okay? They're gonna bring that in. and this is why cold women tend to get treated better by guys. But it's not that they get treated better, because the relationship, this motherfucker is fearful. So it creates a disbalanced type of relationship where they're the ones that are afraid to lose you, and you're the one that doesn't give a fuck about losing them, right? And this is why the coldness gives you an advantage, but you know what happens? You don't respect this person that much because they're such a bitch, right? You don't respect them. And so this woman has a lot of options, but she doesn't respect the options, right? Looks like the Michelin Man playing in the thing. And so the relationships she has are not real because she only has people who worship her. And it's kind of insane. Like, they really have men that worship them. And from the outside looking in, you're like, yo, like, I wish I could have that. But the problem, she doesn't respect it. It's like with guys. Like, when you see players with women, they have a lot of women into them, but those relationships are not balanced. The player looks down on the women, and the women secretly resents the players. So it's like it's everyone is empty still. Everyone is unhappy. I don't envy that. It's like dictators. I remember when I was younger, it's like, man, part of me wishes I was a dictator because, man, I'll be able to get all the women. But now I realize, yo, fuck that shit, man. Like, dictator pussy, that's horrible, man. Like, they're scared. Like, nobody's honest with you. Nobody's real with you. That's a horrible fantasy, man. What the hell is wrong with me? Next one is that you are a challenge. Because this woman is so bored. God have mercy, it's difficult for her to wake up in the morning. This woman is is focused on her career. She's only with him because I can promise you, he makes her feel good. It's kind of similar to the Forrest Gump, right? Where she was with him, but he represented consistency. He represented a happy future, but she's too toxic on the inside. And so anything that's good, she sort of pushes it away as a form of self-sabotage. But the next thing is that she's just a challenge. She's less available. She changes how she feels about him day and night. How she feels about him is pretty much based on how she feels. If she's happy today, she's sad. If she's sad, she might see him. If she's happy, she might go with Tyrone, the personal trainer. It doesn't know. But the challenge aspect, where she's much slower in response, she's more cold, her nonverbals are less obvious, so it takes him, he needs to read her more. All of these things makes her attractive, right? And the next thing is that her coldness allows him to be to express emotions. Now, what do I mean by that? Is that by her being so cold, the only time people show you how they truly feel is when they feel like they don't have an option, right? The coldest guy would tell you he loves you if he knows you're going to leave. And so a woman creates a sense of panic and uncertainty in the guys to such a degree that he'll say and do things he usually wouldn't do. She puts him in a state of desperation, in a state of urgency, where she's so cold that it's miserable. The awkwardness of expressing his feelings doesn't compare to the feeling of having to keep that in. And so they start to express their emotions more, which you could have. This is actually how to keep an avoidant and get an avoidant to open up, is to always keep them at the edges of you leaving. Because when it's only when things are going to end that you start to feel emotions you can't control. And in this case, these emotions you can't control, which you usually don't, because the things that you want, usually you don't get. So usually you don't feel the sense of losing something important. Well, it's only towards the end when you start to feel all of the emotions that have accumulated. And like in death, you're suppressing death. The moment of you to die comes, and now all of the emotions that you were suppressing comes up like a thunderbolt. And so her distance and the uncertainty of whether or not she's going to be there tomorrow creates a sense of panic. And they start to feel new emotions, and they start to express how they feel, right? They start to express how they feel. And in her reality is that guys are too fucking needy, too cold, too warmth, and she makes more of that, right? And you can see how that looks like a good thing. So what she does is that she puts a guy in a situation where I'm not expressing my emotions, and so because of that, you're like, I need to show her that I care. She's too cold. And so a lot of the times a guy will take the initiative because you're so fucking cold. And so one of the things about this is that if you want to apply this in your life, and this might be some hell type of like content, but what we learn from her is that she lets the guy go first. She gets them to make the first move because she's so cold and she's so distant that the only thing for us to do is for them to make the first move, because she's not going to make the first move, right? The next thing is, again, I'm going to show you guys how to do it without going straight to hell, is just going slow. Right? Go slow. Just literally go one pace behind them, right? The next thing is have hints of coldness. And the hints of coldness is when this guy fucks up, Jesus Christ, he is exactly who dates her. When he fucks up, she's willing to show coldness. Because when you like someone, you're not willing to show coldness, right? He is okay with showing coldness. And what it does is that it allows them to see another side of you, because the hottest facial expression a woman can make outside of a smile is an angry look. There is something hot about angry women, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's annoying because you might say, "Oh, motherfucker, you gotta take me serious. I got a knife in my hand." But there's something hot with a girl looking angry when she's usually happy, right? And so some women never give a guy that face because they're afraid that it might be too much. This is when guys start to notice that you are for real. And not just that, so remember, facial expression, but also cold voice, right? You kind of learn how to have like a gear to you, right? Where you don't just have the warm side, but you also, when they fuck up, you show them that coldness, okay? And last but not least is walking away, willingness to walk away. And competition, right? So this, like, you gotta understand, these women are so cold that they don't care about losing you. And they may not verbally express that, but because of the mindset of just being willing to walk away, they do little things that communicates that. They may not be aware, you may not be aware, but the action of somebody who is emotionally distant is pretty much predicated by the mental knowledge that if this person fucks up, I'm leaving. It's like you have internal leverage. And that internal leverage is sensed non-verbally, right? And the last one is just be willing to have conflict. Now, what do I mean by conflict? Like I always say, cold women don't mind calling you out on your bullshit, you know? Cold women don't mind saying, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's try to, I don't like what you're doing. And the reason why that is because a lot of the times you're gonna find problems. And let me tell you something, the reason why most relationships don't work is because they don't have enough warm conflict. Now, the narcissistic women are going to have cold conflict where it's my way of the highway. And that still works. Honestly, it works. Especially if they're really traumatized. Warm conflict is less effective. But let me tell you something. That is the difference. Because even though it's less effective, the reason why is because you're not using trauma. You know? Like, you're not using someone's pain to get a response out of them. Warm conflict. So you gotta have some warm conflict. And that means you don't start off on fucking Bronx mode. Right? You start off, hey baby, you know, I think I saw you with another woman. Let's have a little conversation. He's like, oh, what you mean a little woman? Like my granny? You're like, no, my sister. Anyways, so yeah, warm conflict. And this is how you could apply the strategies of a cold person without the coldness. It's just that they are aware of how attractive they are, but people are just not aware of how miserable it is to be them. Like, anytime I see a guy who gets a lot of women and he sort of like goes from women to women, I think I'm looking at myself, to be honest with you, when I say that. But there's nothing to envy there, right? Because the most important things in life is not how many relationships you have. It's pretty much the quality of the relationship, how profound the relationship is, right? How much you know someone. If you don't know someone deeply, that's sad. There's nothing cool about taking someone else's man or woman. Like, that's pathetic. Like, if you find that to be cool, then you're gonna get cheated on, man. And you'll be, you're gonna talk to me one day. Anyway, so let's sum it up. They make them make the first move, okay? And above all, also, the other person opens up. And when they open up, they don't open up, actually. They say, I don't know. I remember one time I told a girl, the first time I told a girl I love her. Oh, Lord, this is going to be it feels like a Seinfeld episode. I was looking at her. She came from Florida, this beautiful Georgian girl. Jesus Christ. And I was looking, I was like, hey, I love you. And then she was like, oh, no. I was like, what the fuck you mean, oh, no? Oh, no, bitch. You know what? I got to go to work. And I went to work. I was like, that's bullshit. I should have kicked her out that day. I should have sent her out. I'll be honest with you. I should have kicked her out. Anyways, so yeah. Oh my God, Father, I'm just traumatized. So yeah, go slow, change the topic. Go slow, have hints of coldness through facial expressions and voice. From time to time, cancel every now and then, because that's narcissistic women have a lot of options. And so you want to cancel every now and then. Now, they cancel because they want to manipulate you or because it's another guy. Cancel because of life, okay? Cancel because of life. Be willing to walk away so that it could penetrate your nonverbal cues. Have competition with your life. Be busy. Have things to do. Don't just spend all the time with them. Be willing to have conflict, warm conflict, not Bronx mode conflict, right? And the last one, by the way, people, I got a drum set. Look at that. All right. And the last one is, remember, men fall in love because it triggers their past traumas. But if this happens, it's temporary because you'll notice they lose interest as soon as you open up. And the problem, and the sad part, is that if you don't open up, they'll be in love with you forever. Or until they meet someone that looks like you. The coldness elicits their fantasies, and it causes them to feel no emotions. Their warmth isn't taken for granted, right? Women who are narcissistic, whenever they do something nice, they never forget. And then, you know what's crazy? That's the only thing they're going to remember. Stop getting close, people. That's the only thing that they're going to remember, okay? And above all, they're a challenge. You know, it's not easy to deal with this woman, man. You can't read her. She needs help. And she's... Run, nigga. Run, man. She's horrible. Anyways, so this is the thing, man. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget we're planning on doing weekly live streams so that you guys can come up so other freeloaders can ask questions. If you guys want to work with me one-on-one, click on the description down below. And if you guys want a course for this, it will be, like I said, the feminine woman. So if you do want to have some coldness without going full Terminator mode, the feminine woman is that course for you. And after that is the psychological game of attraction and natural chemistry. Natural chemistry is all about when you have a relationship, what should you do, right? Psychological game of attraction, it's all about when you're single. So that's one thing. So you can purchase all of them or purchase each one individually. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.